I would like to thank you all for joining us and gracing us with your presence. It's 9 and now we'll be beginning with our first event for the day, that is Numaish. And we'll be hosting the audio plays first. So I expect you all to stay with us throughout the day. We have a lot of things lined up and let's begin.
Thank you, Sukhdev. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I, Nitesh Kabra, welcome you all to the virtual event for the production this year, Numaish. Under Numaish, yesterday we witnessed some amazingly enriching and enjoyable stage plays and street plays. Today, we begin with the third category of productions, which is audio plays. An audio play creates a story in the minds of its listeners solely through its dialogues, music, and its sound effects. It is auditory in the physical dimension, but equally powerful as a visual force in the psychological dimension. Before we begin with the performances of our talented finalists, let me welcome our honorable judges for this category. And the judges for the audio plays category are Mr. Piyush Kumar and Mr. Vikram Ghosh. Mr. Piyush Kumar is a theatre practitioner and film actor for over 10 years. He has performed in several theatre productions, including Same Boat Theatre Collective, California, Tadpole Repertory, Black Boxes, Voisic, Barefoot, Crow, and Cavalier Plays Unravel, to name a few. Sir has conducted several workshops and directed productions in schools and colleges at Delhi University and theatre repertories. Our second judge, Mr. Vikram Ghosh, is a Delhi-based actor, director, playwright, and a stage manager. Co-founder of the Tadpole Repertory, a theatre group based in Delhi, Sir has worked with Shakespeare in Schools project and was a program officer with the First City Theatre Foundation. Sir co-founded and managed The Medicine Show, a late-night variety show in New Delhi. He currently directs NDLS, a sketch comedy by Tadpole Repertory, and performs in various plays created by Tadpole and other theatre groups. Sir, we cannot be more delighted to have you joining us at Histrionica 2021. Before we begin with the productions, would you please like to motivate our performers with your encouraging words? Please, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking forward very much. Oh, good. You do it.
No, you go ahead.
No, you do it.
Yeah, I'm excited over this festival, and I think this is first time you guys doing audio play, right? Included in your university festival, theater festival. That's really amazing, and I'm just looking forward to this, like how this thing will come out, and I'm really excited. So all the best, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that this idea of the audio play is one of the oldest forms of mass entertainment, like since the radio. And also, if you think even further back, storytellers around campfires, so on and so forth. This is kind of the oldest form of storytelling, possibly. Just telling someone's story. And then, so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where we've come today.
थैंक यू सो मच सर। तो इंतजार किस बात का, चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज के पहले ऑडियो प्ले से। एक भूख जो इंसान की आखिरी सांस तक जिंदा रखती है, एक तड़प जीने की, भूख जो सब कुछ खोकर भी जीत जाती है, उस भूख का नाम है जिजीविशा। Deep in the mountains, on a cold winter morning, a seemingly normal couple find themselves in an unexpected, ugly situation where they are tested as human beings with all their carnal desires on question. Will they be able to control these desires, which force them to reanalyze their definition of humanity itself, or let it rule over them? I welcome Yavanika from Deen Dayal Upadhyaya College to present their audio play, Jijivisha.
Oh God.
क्या हुआ?
अरे this book यार. Listen. Hunger and fear are the only realities in a dog's life. An empty stomach makes a fierce dog. I'm just shook. How can someone write this? You know, this hunger the writer is talking about, ये एक मेटाफर है ह्यूमन डिज़ायर का. एंड ये शायद एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट है जिसे दुनिया की हर चीज़ शायद जस्टिफाइड हो सकती है. मतलब चाहे वो अम्बिशन हो, ग्रीड हो या इवन लस्ट भी हो, हम सब चीज़ों को जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं बाय सेइंग इट्स ह्यूमन नेचर.
एक्चुअली आई थिंक अदरवाइज. आई डोंट नो अबाउट द वर्ल्ड, बट हमारी जैसी कंट्री जहाँ पर फैमिली को, कम्युनिटी को एंड सोसाइटी को इतनी इम्पोर्टेंस दी जाती है, वहाँ पर ग्रीड और लस्ट जैसी चीज़ों की कोई जगह नहीं है ना.
बट फिर इंडिविजुअलिज्म नाम की भी चीज़ होती है कि नहीं जीजी?
हाँ.
मतलब देख, तुझे तो पता है कि मुझे फिक्शन पढ़ना कितना पसंद है. तुझे लगता है कि उन स्टोरीज़ में वो सब हो पाता अगर सोसाइटी के नियम वो हीरो फॉलो करता?
अरे बात उसकी नहीं है. सोसाइटी के रूल्स हमेशा इंसान को बांधते थोड़ी है. अब वो तो उसे एक तरह से इंसान ही तो बनाते हैं. आई मीन द ओनली रीज़न वाई वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर एनिमल्स इज़ बिकॉज वी फॉर्म्ड सिविलाइजेशंस, एंड टू सिविलाइज इज़ टू फॉर्म सम रूल्स जिसको कोई इंसान नहीं तोड़ सकता.
अच्छा, so what you mean to say is that without society and community, इंसान इंसान नहीं हो सकता.
ऑफ कोर्स वो बस जानवर बन के रह जाएगा.
Now that's something to think about. मतलब अगर कोई सोसाइटी के जजमेंट ना रहे तो हम तो कुछ भी कर सकते.
We're so sorry for the interruption. We have a subtitle track from the team. So we'll be playing that once so that it's easier for all of us to comprehend the dialogues as well. So sorry for the interruption.
Oh God.
क्या हुआ?
अरे this book यार. Listen, hunger and fear are the only realities in a dog's life. An empty stomach makes a fierce dog. I'm just shook. How can someone write this? You know, this hunger the writer is talking about, ये एक मेटाफर है ह्यूमन डिज़ायर का. एंड ये शायद एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट है जिसे दुनिया की हर चीज़ शायद जस्टिफाइड हो सकती है. मतलब चाहे वो अम्बिशन हो, ग्रीड हो या इवन लस्ट भी हो, हम सब चीज़ों को जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं बाय सेइंग इट्स ह्यूमन नेचर.
एक्चुअली आई थिंक अदरवाइज. आई डोंट नो अबाउट द वर्ल्ड, बट हमारी जैसी कंट्री जहाँ पर फैमिली को, कम्युनिटी को एंड सोसाइटी को इतनी इम्पोर्टेंस दी जाती है, वहाँ पर ग्रीड और लस्ट जैसी चीज़ों की कोई जगह नहीं है ना.
बट फिर इंडिविजुअलिज्म नाम की भी चीज़ होती है कि नहीं जीजी?
हाँ.
मतलब देख, तुझे तो पता है कि मुझे फिक्शन पढ़ना कितना पसंद है. तुझे लगता है कि उन स्टोरीज़ में वो सब हो पाता अगर सोसाइटी के नियम वो हीरो फॉलो करता?
अरे बात उसकी नहीं है. सोसाइटी के रूल्स हमेशा इंसान को बांधते थोड़ी है. अब वो तो उसे एक तरह से इंसान ही तो बनाते हैं. आई मीन द ओनली रीज़न वाई वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर एनिमल्स इज़ बिकॉज वी फॉर्म्ड सिविलाइजेशंस, एंड टू सिविलाइज इज़ टू फॉर्म सम रूल्स जिसको कोई इंसान नहीं तोड़ सकता.
अच्छा, so what you mean to say is that without society and community, इंसान इंसान नहीं हो सकता.
ऑफ कोर्स वो बस जानवर बन के रह जाएगा.
Now that's something to think about. मतलब अगर कोई सोसाइटी के जजमेंट ना रहे तो हम तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. We can cross any limits without any repercussions. ऐसे तो कोई कुछ भी कर सकता है जीजी.
येस, मे बी, बट पीपल कमिट क्राइम विदाउट थिंकिंग अबाउट रेपरकशंस ना. अगर वो सोच भी रहे होते तो शायद वो ऐसा नहीं करते.
हाँ, but what if even after knowing the harsh repercussions, a person has to do something which breaks these unwritten rules of the society just because the situation demands for it. तब तो justified है ना? अरे जीजी ये वही रास्ता है ना? यही तो हुआ था ना एक्सीडेंट? Oh God. No, I can't understand how you dealt with that loss. मैं तो कभी अपने आप को संभाल ही नहीं पाती. You know, this is another human emotion which I find curious. Grief. इतने बड़े हादसे के बाद भी अपने आप को संभालना, you know, try to forget all of that shit.
I haven't. और मैं शायद भूल भी नहीं सकती.
तो I understand. You know, I have something to confess actually. मैं ना कभी अपने दिल से मतलब ये मान ही नहीं पाई हूँ कि अरुण सच में नहीं रहा. अब आई डोंट नो ये इसलिए है कि मैं कुछ ज़्यादा ही फिक्शन पढ़ती हूँ या फिर मेरे अंदर की क्यूरियोसिटी है, पर आई जस्ट वांट टू नो फॉर श्योर कि वो ज़िंदा बचा कि नहीं. क्योंकि व्हाट इफ ही सर्वाइव्ड समहाउ एंड वो अभी भी तुम्हें ढूंढ रहा है बट तुम तक पहुँच नहीं पा रहा है. यू नो, आई जस्ट वांट टू नो व्हाट हैपेंड टू हिम.
सच बोले तो मेरे अंदर वो क्यूरियोसिटी है ही नहीं. बिकॉज आई हैव फाउंड अरुण. यू नो, अरुण ने एक बार कहा था मुझसे दैट डेथ में सेपरेट आवर बॉडीज बट इट कांट सेपरेट आवर सोल्स. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड 10 years ago उसने मेरी ज़िंदगी और मुझे दोनों को बदल दिया. और सच बताऊँ तो अरुण मेरे लिए मरा नहीं है. वो एक तरह से ज़िंदा है मेरे लिए, मुझ में.
मनोविशा, तेरा इस बात पे सेंसिटिव होना बनता है, बट आई एम टॉकिंग प्रैक्टिकली. नो, मैं बस यही जानना चाहती हूँ कि व्हाट इफ इज आउट देयर एंड ही स्टिल लॉस्ट. आई गेस इसका आंसर मुझे शायद कभी ना मिल पाए.
ही इज़ नॉट लॉस्ट.
विशा,
क्या हुआ, रोकी क्यों थी?
अरे विशा, उठ गई तू? सॉरी.
नहीं ठीक है.
फ्रेश हो नहीं आता, सॉरी.
अभी तो बहुत लंबा रास्ता पड़ा. इसे आई जस्ट होप जीत वेट ना कर रहा हूँ. उसे बताना ही नहीं चाहिए था ना मम्मी के यहाँ से वापस आ जाऊँ. उसके लिए अच्छा सरप्राइज हो जाता.
कोई बात नहीं, छोड़ो. उसके लिए कुछ गिफ्ट ले लेंगे रास्ते में से. इतने दिन अलग भी रहा हमसे शहर में.
हाँ ये तो है, बट वी डिजर्व द ब्रेक. तो अच्छा हुआ मेरा होम टाउन पहाड़ों में. स्नोफॉल के टाइम पे कितना सुंदर हो जाता है ना सब कुछ यहाँ पे.
हाँ, मगर स्नोफॉल थोड़ी अच्छी लगती है ना. अब देखो यहाँ रोड्स कितनी स्लिपरी हो चुकी हैं और चारों तरफ स्नो है. मतलब यहाँ कोई खो जाए अगर तो पता भी ना चले.
अरे ये बस 4-5 घंटे में नेशनल हाईवे आ जाएगा. वहाँ से तो ठीक ही है रास्ता. तब तक के लिए तो मैनेज करना पड़ेगा. यार अरुण, हम यहाँ पे कुछ स्नैक्स नहीं लाए थे क्या? रखे तो यहीं पे थे.
हम लाए थे, वो तुमने आते वक्त सब खत्म कर दिए. इतनी भूख ना बाय गॉड जीत को भी नहीं लगती कभी कभी. और एक तुम हो.
कहाँ गए? और यहीं पे तो रखे थे.
तुम्हारा बस चले ना, मुझे भी खा जाओ.
हा वेरी फनी. जैसे तुम तो हर 15 मिनट में वॉशरूम जाते ही नहीं ना.
अरे भाई, तुम्हें मेरे वॉशरूम से क्या तकलीफ है?
यार सच में कुछ भी नहीं है क्या अरुण? हाउ इज इट इवन दैट पॉसिबल? इतने सारे चिप्स रखे थे और मुझे याद है मैंने यहीं पे रखे थे और मैंने सारे नहीं खाए.
पता है, I was watching this documentary the other day on weird customs around the world. और उसमें मैंने देखा कि in some cultures it is socially acceptable to eat other humans.
What?
Like, can you imagine?
Oh God अरुण, why did you have to bring that up? मेरी सारी भूख चली गई अब.
So it worked ना. चलो, I don't have to listen to your रोना धोना पूरे रास्ते.
कितना टाइम और लगेगा?
टाइम तो देखो लगेगा. अभी तो हम निकले ही हैं, कम से कम 9-10 घंटे और लगने हैं अभी तो. अगली बार से एक ड्राइवर रख ही लेंगे साथ में.
अच्छा, मतलब हम ड्राइवर का खर्चा बेयर कर सकते हैं पर हम इनफ स्नैक्स नहीं रख सकते गाड़ी में. हद है अरुण.
अरे इसमें गुस्सा क्यों हो रही हो यार? अच्छा, ग्लव कंपार्टमेंट चेक कर, कुछ पड़ा होगा.
नहीं पड़ा यहाँ पर, खाली रैपर्स है बस. और ये डैशबोर्ड पर भी खाली डब्बा रखा हुआ है. तेरी साइड वाली चिप्स में कुछ भरा हुआ है क्या?
कौन सा?
यार ये वाला।
यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं।
अच्छा देखो।
यार विशा मत कर, ये मेरा है, मैं ये नहीं दूंगा।
अरुण तू स्नैक्स छुपा रहा है मुझसे। अभी के अभी दे, मुझे भूख लगी है यार।
तू सारे स्नैक्स ट्रिप की शुरुआत में अपने खा जाती है और उसके बाद मेरे स्नैक्स पे हाथ मारती है। मेरे को भूख नहीं लगती क्या?
मैंने सारे नहीं खाए, तुमने भी खाए। तुम झूठ मत बोलो। और कितना इनसेंसिटिव है। मुझे भूख लगी, मुझे अभी स्नैक्स
अरे
चाहिए।
तू पागल, ये छीना झपटी मत कर। पागल है कि मेरे को दिख नहीं रहा आगे यार।
नहीं मुझे चाहिए। तो तुम गाड़ी साइड में लगाओ, मुझे पहले चिप्स दो फिर गाड़ी।
पागलों जैसी हरकतें मत कर, मेरे को गाड़ी चलाने दे चुपचाप से, और ये छोड़ दे इसको।
नहीं अरुण प्लीज, मुझे बहुत भूख लगी है, प्लीज दे दो यार। ऐसे मत करो ना।
मत कर यार, मेरे को डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है। तू समझ नहीं रहा बात।
नहीं आई विल नेवर फॉरगिव यू फॉर दिस अरुण।
हट जा यहाँ से।
शांति से दे देना यार।
हट जा प्लीज, हट जा यार।
नहीं अरुण मुझे
अच्छा भाई ये ले।
अरुण सामने। बस थोड़ा सा। हेल्प, कोई है? हेल्प। बस थोड़ा सा। थोड़ा सा, बस थोड़ा सा। अरुण तुम ठीक हो? अरुण तूफान आने वाला है। अरुण उठो। अरुण वी हैव टू गो।
नहीं होगा, मैं नहीं उठ सकता।
उठो। कोशिश करो।
नहीं हो रहा विशा, नहीं हो रहा। आराम से। आराम से।
तुम्हारे पाँव से बदबू आ रही है।
कोई फायदा नहीं है।
उल्टी का मन हो रहा है।
कोई फायदा नहीं है। कोई नहीं आने वाला।
कोई नहीं मर रहा है यहाँ पे। जीत के लिए।
जीत के लिए विशा, तू भाग जा। तू भाग जा, से कोई फायदा नहीं है, मैं मर जाऊंगा। कोई नहीं आएगा यहाँ पे।
नहीं
भाग जा, खुद को बचा ले। हम दोनों में से एक को रहना पड़ेगा जीत के लिए।
नहीं मैं अकेले नहीं।
एक को रहना पड़ेगा।
नहीं, हम साथ में, मैं अकेले नहीं।
एक बार बस जीत को गले लगाना।
नहीं, मेरी वजह से तुम नहीं।
तुम्हारी वजह से कुछ नहीं हुआ, ये तो होना ही था। तुझे याद नहीं हो पंडित से क्या बात?
अरुण, तुम उठो। अरुण, उठो। बोलो।
तुम्हें वो बात याद है जो मैंने गाड़ी में कही थी?
कौन सी बात?
Strange customs around the world. तुम्हें पता है, एक जगह पे मरने वाले अपने रिश्तेदार से उसके मेरे शरीर को खाने को कहता है। उसके मेरे शरीर को खाने को कहता है और वो खा लेते हैं, वो खा भी लेते हैं।
कैसी बातें कर रहे हो अरुण? क्या बोल रहे हो तुम?
तुझे भूख लगी है ना? भूख तुझे भूख लगी है?
नहीं, मुझे भूख नहीं है। मुझे घर जाना है, तुम्हारे साथ जाना है, जीत के पास जाना है।
तुझे
क्या
भूख लगी है? मैंने देखा था तो मैं नाखून खा रही थी।
वो तो आदत है ना मेरी। मुझे भूख नहीं है, मुझे घर जाना है, तुम्हारे साथ जाना है। जीत,
हमेशा।
हाँ,
मैं हूँ हमेशा, ठीक है? डरना मत, डरना मत। आंखें बंद कर लेना। भाग जा यहाँ से, दूर चले जा।
नहीं,
तुझे जीत तक पहुंचना पड़ेगा।
नहीं, मैं अकेले नहीं जाऊंगी। प्लीज डोंट लीव मी।
ऐसा तुम मैं एक ही बात तो है।
नहीं, नहीं,
जीत का ध्यान रख लेना।
नहीं अरुण, प्लीज नहीं, नहीं, प्लीज।
तुम रोते हुए बहुत बुरी लगती हो।
कम से कम 6 फीट की बर्फ रही होगी। वो पड़ा था वहीं, मांस का एक पुतला सा, उसी जगह पर। मैंने उसे छुआ नहीं। वो इंसान नहीं था, मांस था बस, अ पीस ऑफ मीट। My stomach used to growl when I उसकी बू आती थी और मैं वो अरुण नहीं था। मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं अरुण के लिए रोऊं या भूख से मेरे दिमाग ने काम करना बंद कर दिया था। सिर्फ 2 ही चीज़ें समझ में आ रही थी, एक वो ठंड और एक भूख, और इनके बीच में मेरी आंखों के सामने पड़ा था वो मांस का पुतला। पहले मैंने उस पर से अरुण के कपड़े उतारे। They didn't smell like Arun anymore. तो मैंने उससे हर वो चीज़ उतार दी जो अरुण की थी। उसकी फेवरेट शूज़, उसकी घड़ी, उसका मफलर, उसकी आंखें। उनको निकालने के बाद वो पुतला सच में पुतला बन गया था। मेरी उंगलियों में उसका खून था। जैसे हम बचपन में उंगली से खून निकालने पर उसे मुंह में ले लेते थे ना, मैंने भी ठीक वैसे ही किया। And it tasted like blood does. मैंने उसे आखिरी बार देखा। I touched its lips that once belonged to Arun. पर वो खून मेरे मुंह में जल रहा था। I wanted more. So I went down towards its chest. और वो जो पेन था मेरे हाथ में, मैंने उसे जोर से मार दिया, right in the middle of its chest. मारती रही बिना देखे, बस मारती रही। वहाँ एक गड्ढा हो गया था। मैंने देखा कि पेन पे ना कुछ अटका हुआ था, तो मैंने उसे मुझे याद नहीं वो किसने किया, कैसे किया, पर जीत के लिए मैं जिंदा थी, और अरुण भी मुझ में। उस शाम मुझ में थोड़ी सी जान आई। वहाँ कुछ पत्थर पड़े थे, बड़े बड़े। तो मैंने दोनों हाथों से एक भारी सा पत्थर उठाया और उस पर पटक दिया। बहुत घंटों तक किया मैंने ऐसा। मुझे नहीं देखना था उसको, तो मैंने उसे पत्थर से मारा, घंटों तक या शायद दिनों तक, मुझे याद नहीं है। पर उसके बाद वहाँ पे कुछ बचा ही नहीं। हाँ, बस ज़मीन लाल हो गई थी, कीचड़ जैसा जैसा हुआ ना कुछ। पता नहीं कितने दिन हो गए थे, शायद 10। एक दिन बाहर तूफान की आवाज़ रुक गई। उस दिन मैं बाहर निकली और मैं भाग गई। 3-4 घंटे लगे, पर मैं भागती रही और आखिर में एक पक्की सड़क मुझे दिखी। शायद दूसरी तरफ जाती तो हमारी गाड़ी भी मिल जाती, पर मैं नहीं गई। मुझे बस जीत के पास होना था, कैसे भी। शायद थोड़ी देर और चली थी मैं, या कुछ घंटे, मुझे याद नहीं है। मुझे सुनाई नहीं दिया, पर कोई गाड़ी निकली वहाँ से जिन्होंने मुझे देख के रोका। अच्छे लोग थे, वही मुझे जीत के पास लेकर गए। पुलिस भी आई उसके बाद। पुलिस को बताया मैंने कि मेरी जब आंखें खुली थी तो अरुण तो गायब हो गया था वहाँ से। उन्होंने ढूंढने की भी कोशिश की उसे, पर वो नहीं मिला। अरुण के पेरेंट्स नहीं थे, फैमिली नहीं थी, तो किसी ने ढूंढने पे जोर नहीं दिया। मिल भी जाता शायद कुछ हड्डियाँ, डीएनए कुछ, तो मैं तो जीत के साथ थी ना। वो अरुण चला गया था तो उसने बोला था जीत के लिए ज़िंदा रहने को। आफ्टर ऑल वो मरा नहीं था, वो मेरे साथ था। है, वो है, मुझ में है।
जीत बहुत प्यारा बच्चा है।
हाँ, ही इज़ सो स्मार्ट। अपनी नानी के घर पियानो सीख रहा है आजकल।
अच्छा, चलो फिर सुनेंगे आज उसे जाकर।
हाँ, मैं कैमकॉर्डर भी लाई हूँ।
जिजीविशा, तुम्हें लगता है कि वो हड्डियाँ अभी भी वहाँ होगी?
Wow, what an amazing play. It showed many human emotions like love, care, affection, pain. It was amazing to watch that and to listen to such emotions. I'd like to ask our respected judges to give their valuable reviews about the play. Sir?
Yeah. Do you want us to do it right now or later after all the plays happen then?
So we could do it right now.
Okay. Okay, I generally, the story wise, I felt little, I mean, kind of in between lost, somehow. Most probably because of intention was missing, uh, so because like when you do kind of audio play or radio play, I mean, the visual expression you are telling the audience through your dialogues, and we as an audience, we have to get those, I mean, in the visuals in my mind what's happening, because the location wise, like when you're playing in your home, according to this Jijivisha story, you were at home, and then in the mountains, and the sound of the mountains and air was like throughout, that was not giving that impact of that real visual of that mountains, like there's a hawa chal rahi hai, that kind of. तो आई थिंक थ्रू आउट वो कहीं ना कहीं वो एक डिस्टर्बेंस थी जो आई थिंक उस विजुअल तक नहीं ले गई. So I think choosing the right choice of and soundtrack, like how you're designing your sound during the plays, and also for generally this comment, whatever I'm saying, this goes for all the plays. I mean, they were going to present now after this. So basically, again, the visual thing and the sound, how you make the audience to imagine the visual you are going through. Okay, and another thing is like very important, this is not just audio, your voice is not just your voice is important, there's also like how you rehearse a general play on stage. Okay, so when you watch any play on stage, like there's everything's happening, expression and I mean the movement wise, तो ये जरूरी नहीं कि एक ही जगह पे बैठ के हम बात कर रहे हैं, हम घूम रहे हैं, मूव कर रहे हैं. अगर कोई फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम पॉइंटिंग आउट टू समवन, लेकिन वो रेडियो प्ले में पता नहीं चलेगा, so how we can express that, so that's why I'm saying intention is very important. and movement kya ho sakta hai, where you're going, just playing, rehearsing the radio or audio play, just like you're doing a play on stage. So I think that part was like, you can, I mean, that way it could be more better. And I think writing wise, I felt it could be more realistic. I'm saying like all the thing you can improve. It's not like it was really kind of that. It was not good and bad. I'm just saying the improvement, because this is first time university is doing. So I'm glad that like this is happening, you know. So I'm just telling all the improvement you guys can do. Okay. So yeah, otherwise, like I really like the graph, how it was going, and starting from the two friends are talking, and then the shifting the real story, and then coming back to that, you know, those videos. I mean, I really like that graph, the happening, and two friends are talking about the some, I mean, personal story, and there's a like depth about the inside story of Jijivisha was happening about Jeet, and you know, the what happened incident they're talking about. There was, so I mean, the realistic in a way of how she was explaining that bit. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Bikram, sir.
Thank you.
Hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I wanted to. I agree with a lot of what Piyush is saying, but I wanted to hear from maybe if anybody is here from the team, about how long you guys had to prepare, what was the process you guys followed about putting this together, because I feel like that stuff is also important to just know as a background before I give my feedback. Is anybody here to maybe share?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. So how long did you guys have to prepare this play? What is the process you followed? How did you come about this narrative? Like, why did you choose to make? Why did you? What were the decisions behind your choosing to tell this story? That's what I want to know.
So it started with we were thinking about making some orientation act for college, and उस time पे lockdown हो गया था, so we could not meet up. So we thought of making an audio play.
Yeah.
So we were like thinking about like we were really interested or intrigued about human desires, कि कैसे we tend to behave like we are good people in general, but what if we are put in a certain situation where we cannot behave like a human. So that is what intrigued us. So we sat down and wrote a script. Two of our members actually wrote the script, and so we came about this idea, wrote a script, and उसके बाद we मतलब हमारे पास ज़्यादा resources नहीं थे, so we were sitting in different homes. Like we made this through a Google Meet. We used to get up at 4 o'clock क्योंकि उस time पे आवाजें ज़्यादा नहीं होती हैं background की, तो हम Google Meet पे भी तो उस टाइम पे हम लोग 4 बजे उठ के रिकॉर्ड करते थे, एंड ज्यादा टाइम नहीं था, हमने शायद वी हैव मेड दिस इन और अराउंड 10 days or something. So
right. Yeah, I think and can I ask you one more question, which is that, like, just in your mind, when you told this story, when you started to write this story or create this story, or take it in this direction, exploring human desire and fear through cannibalism as a way to kind of describe an extreme situation, what did you want to share with the audience? Hello?
I think yes,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
जो हमारा main purpose was कि कैसे मतलब we were thinking about, like I feel this is a really interesting topic कि कैसे desires हमारी होती है. Like there was one scene which we had thought जब हम इसको as a video play बनाने वाले थे कि we'll start with someone like moving their leg in anxiety. एंड देन उसकी ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम कि बचपन में हमारा मतलब एक एंजाइटी होती है एंड समटाइम्स वी रीच अ गोल बट स्टिल हम पे सेटिस्फैक्शन नहीं होता है उस चीज का कि हम पहुंच तो गए हैं बट एक वो सेटिस्फैक्शन लेवल नहीं है कि इस गोल तक पहुंचने के लिए शायद हमने बहुत कुछ छोड़ भी दिया पीछे। तो हाँ, जैसे हम किसी डिजायर को पाने मतलब हमारी कोई गोल है उसको हम पाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उसके पीछे हम इतना दौड़ते हैं कि हम पीछे कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे छोड़ते हुए जाते हैं एंड जब हम वहाँ पहुंचते हैं देन वी रियलाइज कि शायद वो चीजें ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट थी या ये थी। तो ऐसे ही
Yeah, I mean, I think what you just described right now is a very interesting story about the anxiety and the anxiety that never really leaves you. And the goalposts keep shifting, right? Just when you think you've got to your goal, actually your goal has changed. You want something else. You want something further. And this is a story that's existed in our cultures, in our race, in our whatever, in our species for a really, really long time. This is something a lot of people have noticed, and it's one of those mysteries that how come every time we get what we think we want something else. And this and other playwrights and so on and so forth have also kind of like Tennessee Williams's entire canon of work is an exploration of human desire, you know. So I understand why you chose to put it in that extreme situation. But actually, if you think about it, what you just described about the legs moving and how this kind of is inside you from the time you're a child, I think those are really, really interesting things. I kind of agree with Piyush about I didn't really understand why the plot had to go the way it did, because it felt like you guys had an idea and then you found a story that would dramatically expose this idea. But actually, I think your idea is dramatic enough that you don't need this extreme situation of cannibalism to really bring it out. And you also, so also I just want to say a few things about Apurva because I hate her. And I hate all the characters actually. Apurva is a completely self-involved dick. She's absolutely shallow and obsessed with Arun. Like out of nowhere, she starts talking about like, hey, we're on that road, right, where you died. Suddenly they're walking on this road that where they had that accident. And it's like, I wonder where he is 10 years later. I still wonder if he's out there. Like, what the hell, man? Somebody's clearly been through some kind of traumatic experience and you're just poking it. And right at the end, she tells you this really horrific story of having to eat her husband. And this woman's like, hey, yeah. Jeet's a really good kid. You think the bones are still lying there? Like, what is, like, that's the most sinister part of this. What is Apurva's kind of motivation? Like, I think she has sinister intentions. But I mean, that's a non sequitur. Not non sequitur. This is very relevant. Like, I don't know why this person has emerged in these people's lives to keep picking at this scab. The other thing is Jivisha is absolutely like Visha. She's psychotic. Like she ate her husband, and she's walking around saying, "No, he lives inside me." And everybody's like, "Okay, cool with that." There's a mental health aspect of that somebody really should take a look into. Okay, I agree with Piyush about the sound. Like, I think there was too much narration. I think if you really wanted to kind of invoke horror, sound is really amazing. Sound works. Sound changes how we imagine things. This is what I think Piyush meant in terms of having to visualize. There's the sound of, for example, her ripping through the carcass, her taking clothes off. There's only one time we actually hear any real atmospheric sound, which is the object, the packet. But that's the only thing. There's no sounds of Visha looking for it, so on and so forth. I mean, I can, continue going down the list, but I feel like there should have been something to indicate transitions. The first transition was very good. I mean, when we went from the two friends talking all the way to the scene inside the car, I figured it was a car. But there was no indications that it was a car. There was no sound of a vehicle. There was just a radio playing. So I think those things could definitely have been more. There should have been more detail, because if you're building something with sound is your instrument here. The bodies don't really matter. It's about dynamics. So Piyush was talking about when you're on stage and you're walking around, that creates a different dynamic on stage, at least for the audience, because there's distance, right? If an actor is close to you and speaking, they are louder. If they're far away from you, they sound they sound different. And this is a dynamic that I feel like you guys could have worked on. It's very hard. I mean, you did put it together in 10 days. So bravo for doing that. I really felt like that's something that I needed to know. Also, sorry, one more thing. When she eats her husband and she wanders onto the road and these nice people find her, they don't take her to a hospital. They take her straight home, covered in blood. They take her to her son. This is weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think this is something to consider. If you're the form in which you're telling your story, and really, I applaud you for putting together this story. I really like your idea. I think the idea about looking at this anxious desire that never seems to end, and that feels like a hunger. That's a really great idea. But I don't think this is the this is the right form in which you could have taken that. I think that or whatever. Oh, we weren't in the living room. We were on the road. Yeah. That's also I want to say, like, once they have that crash, she eats him really quickly after they crash, and he suggests it very easily also. It's almost like it was set up. Like they had, and also it's not her fault they crashed, guys. Like he's playing around with a food packet. If he knows how dangerous it is, just give her the bloody chips packet, man. And then she's living in this guilt. Oh, I caused the crash. That's nonsense. This guy's just as responsible for it as she is. That's my full feedback.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Now-
sir. We'll work up on it. Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Now, let us move towards the second audio play, Raktakarabi, presented by the LSR Dramatics Society. This play is an adaptation of Rabindranath Tagore's play of the same name.
We do not own any of the music included in this audio play. The happenings in this play take place in the fictional town of Jokhopuri. The workers are busy extracting gold from earth. Here the king or the Raja resides beyond the shackles of humanity and mankind, within complexities and mazes. We see a glimpse of this dark world of the Raja in just one act of the play. All the rest of the incidents take place outside of the maze of the Raja. In this Jokhopuri, there are governors, foremen, headmen, tunnel gold workers, scholars like myself. There are policemen, executioners, and undertakers. Altogether a beautiful assortment. Nandini is, however, unique. She has within her the delightful joy of the earth. Amidst the clamour of the marketplace, she is like a lyre bird. LSR Dramsoc presents Raktakarabi.
Bishu! Bishuda! I hear you, Nandini. Do you want more flowers? I will go and get them for you.
Oh, no. You must go back to work right now. I don't want you to be late because of me.
I spend day after day digging the earth to find slabs of gold. I just need an escape within which I can get some flowers for you.
They'll punish you if they find out, Bishu. I will get my flowers myself.
Please don't be so harsh on me, Nandini. My happiness lies in bringing you those red oleanders.
But those monsters? The monsters here torture and punish you. And it breaks my heart.
And that pain is what makes my flowers blossom. They are a celebration to my grief.
But how would I let you suffer in front of my eyes?
Someday, Nandini, I will let go of my life for your sake. And that is the joy I think of every day.
Thur! Bagul, you have given me so much. How can I ever repay you, Bishu? Bishu, when you sing, I cannot help feeling that I owe you so much. But I've never given anything to you.
And I shall cherish your never giving back to me. I don't need anything in return for my song.
Bishu, can you sing the song of hope and waiting? My Ronjon is coming today.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা শোনো তাহলে যুগে 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 বুঝিয়া আমায় চেয়েছিল সে সেই যেন মোর পথের ধারে রয়েছে বসে মোর পথের ধারে রয়েছে বসে যুগে যুগে বুঝিয়া আমায় চেয়েছিল সে
Nandini, wait, come back.
What is it, Professor?
What's with these sudden disappearances, Nandini? Why don't you stay? We'll talk for a bit.
Why would you need to talk to me?
Need? Necessity? You talk of necessity, then look at those workers digging day and night, some carrying those bags of needs through the heart and nerves of the earth. In this Jokhopuri, all we know of need is this gold. But it is indeed surprising to see light splurging through the stiff doors of this town. You are that ray of light in Jokhopuri. Tell me, Nandini, what do you think of this place?
I gaze in surprise as I watch the town dig deeper and deeper into the crux of the earth. Through darkness, they try to bring out the age-old buried treasure of the earth, and I watch them in amazement. You all have trapped the Raja behind these peculiar prison-like walls, lest people realize he's human too. But Professor, sometimes I feel like breaking through the dark tunnels you have built within the depths of the earth. Just like sometimes I wish I could rescue the Raja out of the seeping darkness he is in.
Beware, Nandini. Our cruel Raja is as mysterious and powerful as the spirits within the darkness of the earth.
Oh, what nonsense.
Come to my place once, Nandini. I'll explain it to you.
No, not now. I've come to see the Raja in his room.
He lives behind the web of darkness. They won't let you enter his room.
I shall not listen to the boundaries of the web. I have come to see him in his room. But can I ask you something, Professor? They brought me here alone. Why didn't they bring Ronjon along?
This is a city under eclipse. Don't stay here. They break you into pieces and bring those pieces back here. But let me ask you, why do you want to bring the love of your life in this land of the dead treasure?
For if I bring Ronjon here, there will be celebration within the shackles of the dead land. Just a single push of happiness from within would change life for all living here. Ronjon is that push. Let me tell you a secret. I will meet him today.
Once she begins to talk of Ronjon, there is no escape. Well, I have my books. Let me search for peace within them. Nandini, let me ask you something. Will you give me a flower from your chain of red oleanders?
Why? What will you do with it?
I have often thought that there is some meaning in these ornaments of yours. In that red, there is not only beauty, but also the fascination of fear.
Fear? That too in me?
Do you know we often choose our own fate unknowingly? Out of all the flowers in the world, why did you choose these red oleanders?
Ranjan often lovingly calls me a red oleander. I feel that the color of his love for me is red, and that is the red I wear on my neck, my breast, and my arm.
Then give me one of those oleanders, a gift of the moment, and let me understand the depth of its color.
Here, take it. Ranjan is coming today, so out of my heart's delight, I give it to you.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Stop it! I can hear you. But don't call me over and over again. I don't have time.
Let me come in and share my happiness with you.
No, not inside. Tell me what you have to from the outside.
I brought you some flowers.
Well, then wear them yourself.
These don't suit me. I wear garlands of red oleanders. Open the door. Let me come in.
I won't let you come in. Why don't you understand? Tell me what you have to and be quick.
Do you hear the song?
What song?
The spring song.
Nonsense! Nonsense! Stop it! Leave me alone. I don't have time, I said.
Are you not afraid, Raja, of handling the cursed dead treasure of the earth? Don't you see how everybody here is either angry or suspicious or afraid?
But we bring up strength. Doesn't my strength please you, Nandini?
It does. That's why I want you to come out in the light, step on the ground, let the earth be glad.
And I want to snatch you away from them and hold you within my arms. But I am unable to. I want to feel and admire every bit of you. And if I can't, I want to destroy you.
What are you saying?
Nandini, will you tell me what you think of me?
Not now. You have no time. Let me go.
No, don't go. Do tell me what you think of me.
Have I not told you often enough? I think you are wonderful. Strength swelling up in your arms, it makes my heart dance within me.
And when your heart dances to see Ranjan, is that too?
The rhythm of that dance is different. You won't understand.
I think I do understand. A little. I know what the difference between me and Ranjan is. In me, there's only strength. But in Ranjan, there's some magic too. I have the strength to extract blocks of stone, iron and gold from underground. But I can only guard by force. And if I had Ranjan's youth, I could leave you free and yet hold you fast. But alas, everything else can be tied up, except joy. And I am like a desert. I am parched and weary. But in you, Nandini, in you I see something quite the opposite.
What is it you see in me?
The rhythm that lightens enormous weight. It is that rhythm, Nandini, that makes you so simple, yet perfect. How simple you are compared to me. Still I envy you.
When you talk this way, I don't follow you. Now please, let me go.
Everybody runs away from me because they fear me. But if I wish to hold you, with all of that I have, would you come to me, Nandini?
You did not let me come in. Then why say all this?
Because my busy time, overloaded with work, it's not for you. The day you agree to be mine, I will let you in. But today is not the time.
Okay, I will go then.
Go on then, or else it will be dangerous.
I am going, but I should tell you. My Ranjan is coming. He is surely coming today. And you won't be able to stop him.
ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি এই সুরে কাছে দূরে জলে স্থলে বাজায় বাজায় বাঁশি ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি
Oof, Baba! Listen, Bisu. Let me tell you, your dear Nandini will be the end of you. To see her flaunting her prettiness all over the place makes me sick. I don't quite trust her.
Why, Didi? What has she done?
She does nothing and that's the problem. I too don't understand her only. Don't know why the Raja brought her here.
To tell you the truth, Bhishu bhai, whenever I see Nandini, I feel very ashamed of myself. I can't even utter a word when she's present, huh?
I can utter a word when she's present. Joto sob baje kotha. The day will come when you see I'm right, okay? Perhaps too late. You men have gone to the docks in Jokhopuri, but we women, we haven't changed at all.
Haven't you? Your flowers have faded, and you all are slaves for gold digging.
No, never.
I say yes. Phagulal toils for hours and hours. Why? For a reason unknown to him, unknown even to you. But I know it's your dream of gold that lashes him on to work.
Very well. Then why don't we fly from here and go back home?
Your governor has closed the way as well as the will to return. Even if you leave, you will be dragged back here like a bird to its cage.
Arey, but can't we go when our work is finished?
The calendar never records the last day. After the first day comes the second. After the second, the third. There's no such thing as the day we will finish. We're always digging yard after yard. We go on raising ghost slabs. In Jokhopuri, figures follow one another in rows and never arrive at any conclusion. That's why we are not meant to them, Phaguda. Only numbers.
Bhishu bhai, they have hoarded such heaps of gold. Can't they stop digging now?
In this season, the villagers are preparing for their harvest festival. Let's go home.
Don't worry me, Chandra. I have told you 1,000 times before that in this town there are high roads to the market, to the burning ground, everywhere except to our homeland.
Oh, Shonona, if we were to go to the governor and tell him, what then? He seems to be so nice and...
Yes, nice and polished, like the crocodile's teeth, which fit into one another so well that the Raja himself can't unlock the jaw, even if he wants to.
Hush, shh, shh, shh. There comes the governor. Sir Governor!
Please, grant us leave to go home for a little.
Why? Aren't the rooms we have given you excellent? Much better than the ones at home. We have even kept a state watchman for your safety.
Give us leave, Sir Governor. Do give us leave. Our hearts yearn to go back. Don't you see that your men here work all day in the dark? Have you no pity for them?
My dear child, surely you know we're concerned for their welfare. That is exactly why I have sent for our high preacher, Kenaram Gosain himself, to give moral talks to the men.
Stop this waste of money, Governor. If it's our offerings you want, we can stand it. But we are fairly sick of this rant.
Shh, shh, Phagulal. Once Phagulal loses his temper, it's all over with a lot of you.
I see. I know where the root of the trouble is. I'll have to take them in hand myself.
But, Sir Governor, don't forget my request.
I have heard it and will bear it in mind.
Dekho, the governor is so nice. How he smiles every time he talks, huh?
Crocodile's teeth begin by smiling and end by biting.
Bishuda! Bishuda!
Bolo, Nandini!
Oh, there comes Nandini now. There'll be no more of Bhishu for us for the rest of the day. Chalo.
Cholo, I've come to take you away from here.
Since you have moved even the Raja of this place, what power on earth can prevent you? But tell me, Nandini, don't you feel afraid of him?
I did. I did fear him from outside that screen of his. But now, I think I know what he's like on the inside.
What was he like?
It was as if he were a 1,000-year-old banyan tree. And I, a tiny little bird. With me around, that lonely soul felt a bit of joy. Bishuda, don't you feel pity for him?
He will die the day when God will be moved to pity him.
Oh, no. You don't know, Bishuda, how desperately he wants to live.
You will see this very day what his living means. I don't know whether you'll be able to bear the sight, Nandini.
There! Look! There's a shadow. I think the governor has secretly heard whatever we were saying.
This place is dark with the governor's shadow. It is everywhere.
I have never seen anything so lifeless. He spends his time repressing life.
He hears even when you're silent, which is all the more dangerous. When I'm with the workers, I'm careful in my speech. But when I'm with you, my mind scorns to be cautious.
Oh, no. You must not put yourself in danger then. Cholo, Bishuda, cholo. Let us meet the Raja. Cholo. Do you hear? Let me come into your room.
Why always the same futile request? Who is that with you? Another Ron John? Nandini, who is that man to you?
He is my partner in music. My heart soars in his voice. My pain cries in his tunes. That is what he tells me.
So that's your partner? What if I broke your partnership this very minute?
Why are you so angry? Haven't you any companion yourself?
Has the midday sun any companion?
Well, let's change the subject. I shall meet Ron John.
I want to see you both together.
You won't be able to see if you stay behind your net.
Then I shall let you sit inside my room.
What? What will you do with us?
Nothing. I only want to know you.
When you talk of knowing, it frightens me.
But why?
Because I feel you have no patience with things that cannot be known, but can only be felt.
I dare not trust such things that could fool me. Now go away. Don't waste my time. Oh, wait a little. Give me that tassel of red oleanders which hangs from your hair.
Why? What will you do with it?
When I look at those flowers, I want to snatch them from you and tear them to pieces. Again, I think that if Nandini were ever to place that tassel of flowers on my head with her own hands, then...
Then what?
Then perhaps I might die in peace.
It is in remembrance of Ron John that I wear these flowers.
Then I would like to tread hard on Ron John and grind him in the dust.
Why are you scaring me?
Care you say? Don't you know I'm really fearsome?
You seem to take pleasure in seeing people frightened of you, and people here also trade on frightening others. That's why they have put you behind a network and dressed you fantastically. Don't you feel ashamed to be got up like a godman?
How dare you!
Those whom you have terrified all along will one day stop being afraid. If my Ron John were here, he would have snapped his fingers in your face and not been afraid even if he died for it. Very well. I will go and I'll not bother you anymore.
Here, listen. Come back, Nandini.
What is it?
The other day, when I sank my hands into your hair, they felt the soft calm of dying. I longed to sleep with my face hidden inside those thick black tresses. You don't know how tired I am.
Don't you ever sleep?
I am afraid of sleeping.
Well then, let me sing you the latest song that I've learnt.
ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি ঈশ্বরে কাছে দূরে জলে স্থলে বাজায় বাজায় বাঁশি ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি আকাশে কার বুকের মাঝে ব্যথা বাজে দিগন্তে কার কালো আঁখি আঁখির জলে যায় বাঁশি ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি ভালোবাসি
Enough! Enough! Stop singing!
See, Pishuda? He has disappeared. He's afraid of songs.
ठीक. But Nandini, where will you go now?
To the wayside by which Ranjan is coming. I will listen to your songs there again.
No. We can't possibly allow Ranjan to enter this district.
I did put him to work in the tunnels of Vajragar.
Well, what happened?
He said he was not used to being made to work. The headman of Vajragar came with the police, but the fellow doesn't know what fear is. Threaten him, he bursts out laughing. Ask why he laughs, he says, solemnity is the mask of stupidity and he has come to take it off.
Did you set him to work with the gold workers?
I did. I thought that pressure would make him yield. But on the contrary, it seemed to lift the pressure from the workers too. He cheered them up and asked them to have a workers' dance. Ranjan started singing. They didn't have drums, so they kept time with their spades, making a joke of their digging up the gold. The headman himself came over to reprimand them. But he didn't care and continued with his silly dance.
The fellow is mad, I see. But how did he manage to escape from Vajragar and come up here?
That I do not know. Nothing seems to fasten on to him. His boisterousness is infectious, it seems. Governor, I'm telling you, the workers are getting frisky.
That rascal! He doesn't even care to hide. Look, isn't that Ranjan himself? Going along the road thrumming on an old musical instrument?
Oh yes. Goodness alone knows how he broke through that wall.
Go and seize him instantly. He must not meet Nandini in this land for anything.
Okay, I'll go.
Oh wait. I have an idea. Don't arrest Ranjan. Instead, send him on to the Raja's sanctum.
But he refuses to obey our call, even in the Raja's name.
Tell him the Raja has made a slave girl of his dear Nandini.
But if the Raja...
Don't you worry. Come on, I'll come with you.
What is happening? Who are they? What a piteous sight! Who are these people? They're going with the guards and they're filing from the back door of Raja's apartment?
We call them the Raja's leavings.
What does that mean?
Someday you too will know its meaning. But for today, let it be.
But are these men? Do they even have life and soul?
Maybe they don't.
Did they ever have any?
Oh, scholar. Explain it if you can. I am off.
What is this horrible place? I want to go away from here.
When the time comes for showing us out, the great ones themselves will point the way. Before that, there's no such way at all because there's a wire network stretched from post to post, from country to country. Nandini, I see your anger coming forth. You look like the burning sun with those red oleanders against your flaming cheek.
Listen! Listen!
Whom are you calling?
That Raja of yours! Shrouded in his mist of netting.
The door of the inner room has been closed. He won't hear you.
Bishu! Pagul Bhai!
What do you want with him?
Why hasn't he come back yet? I feel afraid. The governor said he wanted to identify Ranjan. I tried to go with him, but they wouldn't let me.
There comes the governor. He hates to see me talk to you, so I must go.
Sir Governor, you must tell me where you have taken Bishu.
They have summoned him to the court of judgment. That's all there is to tell you.
Since I'm a woman, you don't fear me, do you?
Then let me tell you the truth before I go. It's you who have dragged Bishu into danger.
Me?
Yes, you. He was so long content to be quietly burrowing away underground like a worm. It's you who taught him to spread the wings of death. Because of you, he's the first of many that will suffer this fate.
So may it be. But tell me one thing before you go. Will you not let Ranjan come and see me?
No, never.
Never, you say? I challenge you to do your worst. This very day, I am sure, absolutely sure, that he and I shall meet. Listen! Listen, Raja, open the door. Where are you? Who is that? Pagul Bhai? Bishu? Oh, where are they taking you like this, huh? What are these handcuffs on your wrists? My dear friend, where are they taking you like that?
It's nothing to be anxious about, Nandini. Guards, please wait a little. Let me say a few words to her. Nandini, my heart's joy. At last I'm free.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
When I used to be afraid and tried to avoid danger at every step, I thought I was free, Nandini. But that liberty was the worst form of bondage for me.
What offense did you commit that they should take you like this?
I spoke the truth today, Nandini. At last I spoke the truth. These chains will bear witness to the truth of my freedom, Nandini.
Don't they feel ashamed of themselves to be taking you like this? Chained like a beast? Aren't they humans too?
They have a big beast inside them. That's why, rather than feel shame, they laugh at fallen men like me.
Oh no. Bishu, have they been hurting you? What are these marks on your body?
They bound me and whipped me with the whips they use for their dogs.
Then let them bind me like that too and take me away with you, my Bishuda. Unless I share some of your punishment, I won't be able to touch food from today. I'm sure I can persuade them to take me in exchange for you. Let me take your place, Bishu. Let me take your place.
Don't be silly, Nandini. No, it won't do for you to be caught. Ranjan has come. You must find him. May you both be united once again, Nandini.
That union will give me no pleasure now. I shall never be able to forget that I left you.
There, Nandini, do you hear them singing the harvest song?
I do. And it brings my heart to tears.
Nandini, Remember me, my dear Nandini. Stay strong. ভালো থেকো নন্দিনী. Come on. Guards, let's not linger here anymore.
What about Ranjan? How far is he?
As far as I know, Allah has driven Ranjan into a frenzy, and he's rushing towards his fate.
Does the Raja know?
No, but I don't think it's right to deceive the Raja like this.
That responsibility is mine. Now then, that girl must be...
I don't want to talk of all that.
I know. I know the spell of Nandini has fallen on your eyes.
I know that as well as you do. But I can see the color of her oleanders in your eyes too. That's what makes them so frightfully red.
That may be. Fortunately for us, our mind is oblivious to our own secret. Okay. Let's go now. There's no time to waste.
Nandini, tell us the truth. Our Bhishu went away with you. Where is he now?
He has been made prisoner and taken away.
You witch! You must have given the information against him. You are the spy.
Do you really believe that?
What else are you doing here, huh?
Every person suspects every other person in this cursed place. Yet I have always trusted you, Nandini. At least in my heart I used to. However, let that pass now. Today it looks very, very strange, I must say.
Perhaps it does. It may really be even as you say. Bishu got into trouble for coming with me. He used to be quite safe in your company. He said so himself.
Then why did you lure him away? You witch!
Because he said he wanted to be free.
A precious kind of freedom you've given him, huh?
I could not understand all that he said, Chandra. Why did he tell me that freedom could only be found by putting himself in danger? Huh? Phagulal, how could I save someone who wanted to be free from the tyranny of safety?
Ekdam chup! We don't understand all this. If you can't bring him back, you will have to pay for it. I won't fall for the deceptive prettiness of yours.
Stop! There's no use of this idle bickering. Let's gather a big crowd from the workmen's lines and then go smash the prison gate.
I'll come with you.
What for?
To join in the breaking.
As if you haven't done quite enough breaking already. You witch! I will knock off that beauty of yours with which you go about ruining people.
Chandra, the time has come to show your prowess, but not by fighting her. Come along with me. I'll show you what to fight.
Where are you going, my good man?
We carry the offering for the flag worship.
Have you seen Ranjan?
I saw him once 5 days ago, but not since. Ask those who follow us.
Look here, red caps. Have you seen Ranjan?
I saw him the other day at the house of headman Shambhu.
Where is he now? I'm sure you know. You must tell me.
What enters our ears doesn't come out by our mouths, and that's why we are still alive. Ask one of the men carrying the weapons.
Oh, do stop for a moment and listen to me. Tell me, where is Ranjan?
The auspicious hour draws near. It's time for Raja himself to come for the flag worship. Ask him about it when he steps out. We only know the beginning, not the end.
Open the door. The time has come.
But not for you. Go away from here.
You must hear now what I have to say. It cannot wait for another time.
You want Ranjan, and I know that. I have asked the governor to fetch him at once. But don't remain standing at the door when I come out for the worship. You will run great risk.
I'm not afraid anymore. You can drive me away. Whatever happens, I'm not going to move till your door is open.
Today is the flag worship. Don't distract me. Get off my door.
The gods have all eternity for their worship. They are not pressed for time. But the sorrows of men cannot wait.
Nandini, I am tired. I am very tired. I have to finish with the flag worship. Don't stop me or my chariot shall run over you.
Let your chariot run over me, yet I will not move.
I have always encouraged you, hence you don't fear me. But you must fear me today.
I hate your encouragement. Terrify me like you terrify others.
Hate it. I shall end your imprudence. It is time to show you my real face.
I'm waiting to see your real face. Open the door! Oh my god! Who is that there? Ranjan?
Ranjan? What are you saying? That's impossible.
Yes, that's my Ranjan.
Oh, why? Why did he not tell me his name? Why did he dare come this way?
Ranjan, wake up. Ranjan, I'm here. Your beloved is here.
Deceived. These traitors have deceived me. My own machine refuses my command. Call the governor. Handcuff him and bring him here.
Raja, they say you know magic. Please wake him up for my sake.
My magic can only put an end to waking. I wish I knew how to awaken.
Then put me to sleep. The same sleep. Oh, what have you done? I cannot bear it anymore.
I have killed youth. Yes, indeed, I have killed youth. All these years with all my strength. The curse of the youth, dead, is upon me now.
Did he not take my name?
He did. In such a way that every vein in my body was set on fire.
My love. My brave one. I placed this garland of my flowers in your hand. Your victory has begun from today, and I am its bearer. Raja, the time has come.
Time for what?
For the last fight between you and me. And I shall fight you with all my power.
But I can kill you in no time. This instant.
And from that very instant, my death will go on killing you every moment. I have no weapons. My only weapon is my death.
Be brave, Nandini. Trust me and come with me.
Where would you take me?
To fight against me, but with your hand in mine. That fight has already begun. There is my flag. First, I shall break the flagstaff. Next, it's for you to tear its banner. Now put your hand in mine, and then kill me all you want. I'm ready.
Raja, what are you doing, Raja? You dare break that flagstaff. The holiest symbol of our divinity? What a terrible sin on the very day of flag worship. Comrades, let us go and inform our governors.
A great deal of breaking remains to be done. Will you come with me, Nandini? Will you be mine?
I will.
Who is this?
The Raja.
The Raja? You conspiring with the Raja?
No.
What is that crowd out for?
To break the prison gate.
To break the gate?
To save Bhishu. We may lose our lives, but we will not fall back.
I too am out for breaking.
What? I don't believe this. Nandini? Is that Ranjan lying there? Silent?
Not silent. I wanted to bring my Ranjan amongst you. Look there. He has come. My hero, braving death.
Oh, my Nandini. Was it for this you were waiting all these eager days?
I did await his coming. And he did come. I still wait to prepare for his coming again. And he shall come again.
Raja, are you sure you don't mistake us? We are out to break your own prison, I tell you.
Yes, it is my own prison. You and I must work together, for you cannot break it alone.
As soon as the governor hears of this, he will march with all his forces to prevent us.
And my fight is against them.
But the soldiers will not obey you.
But you will be on my side.
Shall we be able to win?
We shall at least be able to die. At last I have found the meaning of death. I am free.
Raja, look there.
There comes the governor with his troops. How could he be so quick about it? He must have planned it beforehand. They've used my own power against me.
My men have not yet turned up.
And they will never come. The governor is sure to get them.
I had my last hope that they would bring my Bishu back to me. Will that never be?
I'm afraid not.
Then come along, Nandini. Let us take you to a safe place first. The governor will be furious if he sees you.
I am no longer afraid. Governor! Governor! I will color the soil of Jokhapuri the color of my oleanders with my blood. Victory to Ranjan!
Nandini!
Phagulal! Phagulal! Where is Nandini?
How did you get here?
The network is torn to shreds. Our workers have broken into the prison. There they are running off to fight. I came to look for Nandini Phaguda. Where is she?
She has gone to fight for all of us.
But where?
To the end of freedom. Bishu, do you see who is lying there?
Ranjan.
Yes. Do you see the splash of red?
I do, the symbol of their union.
They are united at last, Bishu.
Yes, they are. Now it is time for me to take my last lonely journey. Perhaps we may meet. Perhaps she may want me to sing, "Oh, my Nandini." Come, Phagulal. Let's join the fight.
Yes. Nandini's joy.
Joy ho tumi Nandini.
Look here, Bishu. Here is her wristlet of red oleanders. She has let it drop off her arm today and left us.
Once I told her I would not take anything from her hand, but today I break my word and take these red oleanders with me.
Malak Tariq as Nandini, Shreya Ghosh as Bishu, Khushi Rulania as the Professor, Fiza Khan as the Raja, Twisha Grover as Phagulal, Akriti Tiwari as Chandra, Ami Sehgal as Governor, and Shefali Mehra as the Headman. This play was translated by Pratasha Shorkar, video made by Kritika Kataria. The directorial team consists of Nadia O'Brien and Anahita Dembi as the assistant directors, Kirat Kaur Gambhir as the assistant director and sounds manager, and Shatakshi Sen as the director.
Thank you so much, Alisar Ramsog, for this amazing play. Now, I'd like to request our judges to present their views on the play.
Piyush, you want to go first?
No, you can start. Yeah.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm just gonna go down my notebook. And also just for everyone, I'm taking notes as the plays are going on. So if it's useful for you, I'll send you screenshots of my notebook after this. All right. So I thought really good opening because the introduction set it up really well. I thought there's a very clear style to the play, which is these are all plus points. But then it kind of it falls off to some extent, I feel, because there's an inconsistency with levels of sound and what sounds you're representing. So for example, towards the end, it seemed quite clear that the anklets are always going to indicate Nandini and the door is going to indicate the Raja. But all other characters and spaces, I don't feel like they have, they've been given the same kind of thought. So I think you should make a clear decision whether sounds indicate people and spaces or they don't. And when you do make a decision, or if you want to make a distinction between them, you have to change the quality of sound, right? So yeah, so I felt like in a lot of places the ambient sound and the action sounds are kind of inconsistent. But I'm pointing these things out. You guys could also have had like very little time to make this play. I totally get it. I hope these notes help you kind of just improve what you've already got. There are places, for example, where there's a gap before transition music, whereas the transition music means that there should be no gap, right? So I have one general note, and this is, I guess, for everybody. The medium in which you're working is totally sound, right? And there are all kinds of sound. Right now, I feel like we're leaning very heavily on the spoken word. And I think when you develop these things further, you have to stop fetishizing the spoken word, because even in theater, we are pushed to show, not tell, right? So now you have to figure out how that works in this context of creating audio plays, because sound is very evocative, but you have to give it that level of detail for it to do that work. Yeah. This is, yeah, so for example, the footsteps coming or going, I'm not really sure when that happens. Right at the end, it says footsteps arriving, footsteps leaving. Okay, this is one major note I have, which is that there's something really interesting you guys have going with respect to playfulness and horror, right? So every chat that Nandini has with the Raja, every chat that even when the workers are talking among themselves and Bishu is describing, oh, like, what do you think? You think we can leave? And then he describes the entire situation. There's many places where playfulness turns to horror, right? And I think those are really good dramatic shifts. But again, I feel like you need to give them a little more juice. By which I mean that when Nandini is being playful with the Raja, let her actually be totally playful. Let the horror suggest itself rather than always be present. Like when the Raja loses his temper, he loses his temper. But often I feel like it's definitely there in your script. There is a lot of playfulness. Sometimes perhaps they are getting mock angry with each other. And Nandini also comes across as quite naive, right? So when she tells him right at the beginning that, oh, you carry out all these terrors on people, she's actually not really aware of what those terrors possibly are until she sees people coming out in chains, looking the way they do. There's a kind of innocence and naivete about her, which I think is something that you can preserve. So then there's a shift between this playful, light demeanor that she has and the true horrors in which she's living. And I feel like all of these things have to be, what you do it through the quality of the voice, right? So for example, when Chandra, like the thing about a lot of this stuff is, that this is going to sound weird, but consistency is not important. It doesn't matter if a character behaves in a consistent fashion, because people don't behave in consistent fashions. So somebody can go from berating someone to suddenly being absolutely fearful to then having a bright idea, which is kind of what happens to Chandra, right? She starts by yelling at Nandini, and then she gets this bright idea of like, oh, maybe we can leave. If this is never going to end, let's just go home, right? There's harvest festivals and stuff like that. And then when they see the shadow, there should be real fear. So if the shadow has overheard them speaking, shouldn't they perhaps drop their voice? Whisper a little more. So then again, you have these shifts going from having playful banter to becoming really afraid. And that stuff is very, very interesting. That's good. Anything else? Yeah, there's something else here, which is, it's interesting because you've almost got it with the sound, which is that everyone in power sounds heavy and deep.
Whereas Nandini, even the descriptions of Ranjan, there's a lot of lightness in them. Yeah, and I feel like the voice acting in Nandini, where that stuff is very interesting because there is a kind of lightness. So when at the end all this death happens, maybe Nandini is also sinking into a certain kind of depth in the sound that she's making. Ultimately, guys, right now, of course, we're in this format, but I think subtitles should be unnecessary. So we shouldn't have to know that there are sound of anklets. It should be a clear sound of anklets. Sometimes there is ambient sound with the mining stuff, etc., but it doesn't stay throughout. Similarly, there are what I mean to say is that I don't need to hear everything clearly in terms of what somebody is saying, but I need much more in terms of where the spaces and what the activity is going on, because that's actually going to get my imagination going. Yeah, where words work really well is right at the beginning when you set up with your narration, because that I don't know what I'm entering into, and the narration really sets it up for me. So that works. But in other times, I feel like you can have more layers and textures of sound to create more meaning in terms of what's happening. I feel like there's a lot of fat in the script. I think a lot of that fat can be cut. You don't need so many lines and so many words to say something. I'm curious to hear from you about the decision to include Bangla. Yeah, I have one major criticism about the ending, and this may be the fault of the play itself, which is that the original script, I mean, which is that it's really undramatic. It doesn't push towards a climactic dramatic ending. It seems to just deflate at the end, like the sounds of the breaking banner, the tearing, the breaking flag stuff, the tearing of the banner, like doesn't, like, it could be a straw and a piece of paper. Like it doesn't sound that dramatic. And so I feel like you need to pace it up or something. Something needs to change there. I have one major thing to say to all teams, and I'm going to send you a screenshot of this, or you want to take notes, take it down. I'm just going to say something that I think is very useful to think about, particularly when you're making audio plays. When you're making plays generally, but just think about it particularly with respect to sound, tone and rhythm. Yeah, they tell us a lot more than actually words do. Often when you have the right tone at the right rhythm, you don't really pay attention to the words, you get the meaning pretty immediately. And within that, I want to talk about three things when you are creating a soundscape, and that includes dialogue. Dialogue is not separate from a soundscape, it is part of the soundscape. There's texture, which is a general kind of sound that there is in the background, right? Something that is sustained and carries on throughout. There's punctuation, which is where are certain sounds coming in to interrupt this texture. And then there's melody, which is really the movement of your story and how that's being constructed, whether that's being constructed through voice or through sound or music, whatever. Yeah. And generally there are about 6 things that you should pay attention to really when you're constructing this, which is volume. What is the level at which something is coming in? The pitch, which is again tone, the dynamic, and the dynamic is really about relationship. What is the relationship of one sound to another? Tempo, which is speed, right? Some scenes can be faster than other scenes. I feel like there's a real even pace throughout all the scenes in this one. Rhythm, which is actually the rate at which something is happening. Sometimes you want to change the rhythm of something. So some scenes happen quick, back to back, something like that. And then there's finally architecture. And architecture is a real kind of abstract word. Architecture is really how you are setting things up, the construction of everything that you're bringing into play. Architecture is how you're putting something together. And related to that, I just want to say that this is really the skill, guys, of making theater. Because theater is a medium where all other mediums flow. there's the visual arts, there's the musical arts, there's the movement arts, and I mean, I'd say there's the management arts in there as well, right? Now, the being really good, quote unquote, at theater is not about being best at everything, at every facet of theater. Being able to really put a piece of theater together is how you're tying it together, right? It's the skill of being able to arrange all these facets in the right order to create the right impression for an audience. Yeah. That's the sum total of my feedback. Sorry, I've spoken a lot, but I'd really like to also hear from the team about why you picked this play, why you chose to go about it the way you have. The process you followed. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, hi guys. Overall, I felt like presentation was really nice, beautiful, and most of the point Vikram mentioned already. So I'm gonna say, I mean, similar kind of point I also have. So I think he already covered those things. But I really want to ask the LSR Dramatic Society about the casting bit. How you did the casting? So if anyone is there, please talk.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. This was like an annual production we did, and the casting happened like we do the casting for other plays as well. So we took auditions, and after the auditions, we shortlisted a few, and we did want to focus on voices, and so whoever matched our category or whoever matched our description, the somewhat description we had of each character, we went ahead with them, and then we worked on in each character and helped them develop their character traits. So that's how we went ahead with the casting.
And recording, how you guys did recording together?
This was done during the lockdown. All of us were from different parts of the country. So we met on Google Meet, and we were recording simultaneously from our phones using our earphones. And then the recording happened often when two characters were not together. So it was just the dialogue getting recorded.
Okay.
And then Kira compiled it all together.
Oh, so it's not happened together, right?
No, sir.
That's why that's all I wanted to know from you guys, basically. Because I felt, overall there's lots of scope. Vikram also said like there's scope in this play, and already the script is so nice and beautiful, and you guys put it together with the the soundtrack you guys use, sound design, and the character. But I have like this one thing to say that like character's voice, we call it voice acting. Audio plays voice acting. Okay, of course there's a acting. So I thought like there's a missing of the character graph each time, because I think Vikram also mentioned that like if you're playing a strong character, high status character, you're playing heavy voice like this, So I felt like similar kind of voice played while, I mean, few characters and few actors in a same way. For example, Phagulal and Raja's voice was kind of similar somehow, I felt. There was no kind of difference. So, and also why I asked like you guys recorded together or not. So just know the graph. Few time moment I felt like the graph was missing, and it's sudden switch. Like if we are in same space, for example, we are in same space and we are talking something, we have conversation, and suddenly the other character's conversation and the rhythm of voice is totally different. I mean, that's how like Vikram also said, like tone and rhythm is very important in the play, how you rhythmic the scene wise. Actually, if you think about the scene one and what kind of image you got in scene one, so one actor is clear about that image, another actor is not, have different image, so then that is not matching together in scene one, right? So that's what I meant, like voice acting in way, like how characters graph is important, voice graph is also important, how building from scene 1 to scene 2, scene 3 and go on, right? And also fade out is very important. Fade in, fade out is very important of the, if you're using another sound. For example, there were like when there was a dialogue called like once Phagulal is angry, there's something like that. Okay, so someone is saying about Phagulal like कि जब वो गुस्सा हो जाता है फिर किसी के नहीं, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो करके बोला, लेकिन दिस रियली लाउड, सो जस्ट क्रिएटिंग दोज इफेक्ट, हाउ यू विल विस्पर, ताकि हम सुन पाए. अगर हम धीमे से भी बोल रहे हैं लेकिन हमें समझ आए वो मोमेंट क्या है, वी कैन फील दैट. So in that way, I was felt like missing. And other thing was like anklet also. Like anklets are sound is there, but voice is little louder. It's coming out. We can see it's coming. But anklet sound was also like stay the same. Not you guys are fading in, fading out. Like अगर दूर से कोई आ रहा है तो उसकी आवाज बढ़ती जाएगी, जा रहा है तो उसकी घटती जाएगी. जैसे हम ट्रांजिशन करते हैं प्ले में कि कोई जा रहा है, फुटस्टेप रिंग से बाहर निकलते हैं, उसकी आवाज चली जाती है, फिर अंदर आते बढ़ जाती है. सिंपल, so that thing was missing. And another way of same with the prisoners chain was also like, if someone, I think Vishu was coming and footstep and the chain sound was like similar, I mean not matching with the voice, you know what I mean. Like अगर चेन की आवाज आ रही है और आवाज भी बहुत तेज है और चेन की आवाज कम है, it's not like going with that. Like if audience is like listening this audio play, it's not going together, so like how you maintaining these balance with the sound effect and the character's voice, which is very important. And why I said together, I mean recording together is very important, especially in university, in this kind of level, so just because you guys also learning, we are also learning, together with each other. So when, just like how we rehearse together with actors, not without actors, like, okay, I'm taking the lines, and how other actors is taking lines, we don't know, we're just reacting in that way, which is really kind of, I feel mechanical, because I know कि सामने वाला एक्टर कैसे बोलेगा, मैं भी उसी हिसाब से बोलूंगा. उसने बोला ये कहाँ है, मैं यहाँ हूँ, but क्या पता in the moment in the script there is a different kind of action reaction happening. If both actors are together, all actors are together and taking these lines, then it could be different, So I think we also record few audio play, radio play kind of thing, so what we do sometimes that like we meet on Zoom and we do a line run, and together we also set up the audio, like how I just listen to other actor, how they are responding, and we just respond accordingly, so I think this will help you guys for the next time whenever you do this, might will help you or give you more kind of authenticity of the character and voice.
Hey, I wanted to actually just raise a question. I don't really need an answer to this for the team, which is that, and this is with respect to Piyush, what you're talking about with the voice acting, right? Does every character that is a man in the script need to be played as a man? If you're doing that for the sake of representing patriarchy, then yes. Right? If you want to represent these male figures who are sitting in authority, and this is, the exercising their power in this way, then yes, definitely. If, for example, there are some characters, I'm not sure if they really need to be men, unless you're trying to make a point about them being men, and this is how men behave. So the professor, the lecherous professor, the governor, because the reason I bring that up is the voices sound put on. And I'm willing to accept that in the context of a college performance, and that you guys are an all-girl college. But just with respect to a play, you don't really need to represent them as men or need to play them as men by, you can just play them as women, which is what you are. Unless the character has something very specific about them that demands that they are men. For example, the Raja, right? Like the Raja, perhaps, like you probably can't do that without the Raja being a man. But there are some characters like Chandra and Phagulala married. So that's something there. And if you want to represent it in that whatever medieval situation, then you've got all those things there. But yeah, that's one question I had. Oh yeah, and one more thing I wanted to share, which is what I was saying with respect to the anticlimactic ending. Just remember that you adapted something for the future. When it was written in the past, it was written in a different context, and the conventions of theater were very different. In many old plays, you'll find it ends like 5 times before the actual ending happens, right? Or the major, like, because they are following this line of trying to slowly bring the action down. We don't live in those times anymore. We live in a much more attention hungry or attention starved, whatever, world. So you need to adapt what you've got for the future, and you're the right people to do it because you live now. You're not living at a time when it's not like Rabindranath trying to adapt it for the future, right? You're doing it, so you can do it. You are already aware of the vocabulary of audiences when they listen to something or watch something, because you live in the age of podcasts and stuff like that. So use what you already have around you. You don't need to pay homage to that old man, great as he was, whatever.
Thank you, judges. Now let's move forward. क्या हमारे देश की नेशनल सिक्योरिटी लॉज लॉफुल है, या फिर ये एक जरिया है हमारे ओपिनियंस, डिसएग्रीमेंट्स और हमारी आवाज को दबाने? पिछले कुछ सालों में कई एक्टिविस्ट, कॉमेडियंस, प्रोटेस्टर्स और ऐसे कई लोगों को इस वजह से अरेस्ट किया जा चुका है क्योंकि वो सिर्फ अपना ओपिनियन पब्लिकली एक्सप्रेस करना चाहते थे या किसी हायर अथॉरिटी को क्वेश्चन करना चाहते थे. क्या हम सच में आजाद हैं? ये सवाल लेकर आ रहे हैं वर्व, द स्ट्रीट प्ले सोसाइटी ऑफ शहीद सुखदेव कॉलेज ऑफ बिजनेस स्टडीज, जिनके ऑडियो प्ले का नाम है NSL, नॉट सो लॉफुल.
शाम के बज रहे हैं 7:30 और मैं हूं आपका कथाकार RJ विमत. आज फिर लेके आया हूं आपके लिए एक नई कहानी और कई सारे नए किरदार. इस दास्तां की शुरुआत कुछ इस कदर होगी, ऐसा सोचा तो नहीं था. सोचा नहीं था इस अव्यक्त अंधेरे के आघोष में हम इस तरह मदहोश हो चलेंगे कि हर किसी की विचारधारा इस अंधेरे में ही गुम जाएगी. कई दशकों से कुछ इसी तरह कई लोग अपनी कहानियां आप लोगों से साझा करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, और इन्हीं कहानियों को आपसे रूबरू कराने हम आज आए हैं उन लोगों को एक आवाज देने. अगली आवाज जो आप सुनेंगे वो होगी सफूरा जरगर की, वो होगी कासिर अली खां की, वो होगी हसीन त्रिवेदी की. पर उनकी ये दास्तां सुनने से पहले आइए एक गाने का लुत्फ उठाते हैं.
आजाद है नाबाद है ये आजादी मेरी गुम कहीं, बंदिश है हर कहीं, है हर कहीं ये रुकावट, गुमसुम सा है यहाँ हर समा, क्यों गुम हुआ है तू यहाँ. आजाद है नाबाद है ये आजादी मेरी गुम कहीं, आजाद है नाबाद है ये आजादी मेरी गुम कहीं.
My name is Safura Zargar and I am here to talk about my truth. What we wanted was to take a strong stand, not conspire to orchestrate violence, a religious test for Indian citizenship. Of course we were scared. We were protesters, not terrorists. And yet, the draconian anti-terrorist law states otherwise. Because who are we to question the government?
जनाब, मेरा नाम कासिर अली खान है. मैं कोई देशद्रोही नहीं हूँ, नहीं मैंने किसी की धार्मिक भावनाओं को ठेस पहुंचाने की कोशिश करी थी. मेरे ऊपर लगाए हुए सारे इल्जाम बेबुनियाद है. मैं पेशे से एक कसाई हूँ और मेरी आमदनी ही गोश्त बेचकर होती है, पर मेरे नाम और मेरे कपड़ों को देख उसे गाय का गोश्त कयास करने में और इसी तहत मुझे मुजरिम घोषित करने में इस देश के लोगों ने देर नहीं लगाई थी.
साहस के चेहरों के पीछे भेड़िए नजर आते हैं, कार्टूनों के नाम पे लोग राजद्रोह में फंसाए जाते हैं. मेरा देश मेरा देश कुछ ऐसा हो गया है कि मेरे हर सवाल के जवाब में मुझे दोषी घोषित कर दिया जाता है। मैं असीम त्रिवेदी सिर्फ इतना पूछना चाहता हूं कि इस सोच के पीछे आप लोगों का क्या ख्याल है? क्या ऐसी सोच हमारी आजादी को, हमारे अस्तित्व को खतरे में नहीं डालती?
दादू, ये रेडियो को क्या हुआ? मेरी कहानी तो बीच में ही रुक गई।
बेटा, मुझे लगता है कि बारिश की वजह से सिग्नल चले गए हैं। अब हम इस कहानी को तभी पूरा सुन पाएंगे जब ये
पर मेरे दिमाग में बहुत सारे सवाल है दादू। अगर हम सबके पास फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच का राइट है तो फिर इनकी आवाज़ क्यों छीन ली गई? अब आप ही तो कहते हो ना कि सवाल पूछना अच्छा होता है।
बेटा, ऐसा मान लो कि इन लोगों के जो सवाल थे वो कुछ लोगों को पसंद नहीं आए, बस फिर और होना ही क्या था। चलो छोड़ो, तुम्हारी इस अधूरी कहानी के सवालों के जवाब मैं एक नई कहानी से देता हूँ। तो कई सालों की गुलामी के बाद जब ये मुल्क आज़ाद हुआ,
तब कुछ विद्वान लोगों ने इस आज़ाद मुल्क की नींव रखी, जिसे आज आप और मैं संविधान कहते हैं। फिर इस नींव पर खड़े हुए 3 मजबूत स्तंभ, एक जिसने हमारे लिए कानून बनाया, फिर वो जिसने उसे लागू किया, और आखिर में वो जिसने उसे समय अनुसार परखा। और इन 3 मजबूत स्तंभ ने मिलकर हमारे देश को लोकतंत्र की एक परिभाषा दी। एक लोकतंत्र की सबसे खूबसूरत बात यही होती है कि ये हमेशा अपने देश के लोगों के हित में होता है। और ऐसी ही कुछ कल्पना की थी हमारे उन विद्वानों ने जिन्होंने हमारे इस संविधान की नींव रखी। समय के साथ सबको बदलना जरूरी है, ये विचार बहुत सुंदर और साधारण है, लेकिन उतना ही जटिल भी। तो हमारे संविधान में भी समय समय पर कुछ बदलाव हुए, जो होने शायद समय की मजबूरी थी, लेकिन यही मजबूरी धीरे धीरे इस लोकतांत्रिक देश के कुछ लोगों के लिए हथियार स्वरूप दिखी। ऐसा हथियार जो कुछ विशेष लोगों पर इस्तेमाल किया गया, उन लोगों पर जो अपने अधिकारों को समझते थे और उनके दायरे में रहकर सवाल करना या ये कह लीजिए कि अलग मत रखना पसंद करते थे। और कई बार ऐसा भी हुआ कि ये हथियार खुली हवा में चला और इस देश के कई मासूम और आम लोगों को इसने चाहते या ना चाहते हुए भी काफ़ी चोट पहुंचाई। और इस पूरी कहानी की खास बात यही है कि ये कहानी और ये हथियार दोनों ही हमारे संविधान से ही निकले।
पर मुझे तो अभी भी एक चीज समझ नहीं आ रही कि ये जो गवर्नमेंट है ये अपने ही देश के लोगों के साथ ऐसा क्यों कर रही है, और तो और वो ऐसा कर भी कैसे पा रही है?
बेटा, समय समय के अनुसार देश में कई कानून लाए गए, पर ये कानून 2 मुही तलवार की तरह थे। जो आए तो देश की सुरक्षा के लिए थे, लेकिन अब वही कानून कुछ विशेष लोगों के लिए असुरक्षा का कारण बन चुके हैं, क्योंकि ये कानून चुनी हुई सरकार को जरूरत से ज्यादा ताकत दे देते हैं।
कई सारे कानून, जैसे कि
मैं बताता हूँ। बात उस समय की है जब
इस देश की स्थिति को काबू में करने के लिए मैं बहुत विचार विमर्श करके प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन एक्ट को लागू करने का प्रस्ताव आप सबके समक्ष प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूं।
पर पटेल जी, प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन जैसे काले कानून को मैं कभी भी सहमति नहीं दे सकता, और मजबूरी का होना हमें ये नहीं सिखाता कि हम अपने ही संविधान के विरुद्ध में चले जाएं।
मैं हमेशा से आजाद आवाज के साथ खड़ा रहा हूं, परंतु गौर करिएगा, अगर वो आवाज देश हित के विरुद्ध उठेगी तो उस पर ठोस कदम भी उठाए जाएंगे।
Commandos, crossing the Nagaland border will lead us to a disturbed area. To handle this situation, the government has implemented the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and you have the orders to arrest and shoot at sight. Clear?
इंदिरा मैम, एक सवाल। नो वकील, नो दलील, नो अपील के इस नारे पे आपकी क्या राय है?
देश में अलगाववाद की स्थिति है और हम ऐसे हाथ पे हाथ धरे नहीं बैठ सकते। इन्हीं कारणों से हमारी सरकार ने नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एक्ट जैसा सख्त कानून लागू करा है और इनका उद्देश्य कोई नुकसान पहुंचाना नहीं बल्कि सुरक्षा करना ही है।
भाइयों, वो लोग जो आतंकवादियों की अभिव्यक्ति के लिए उन्हें धन मुहैया कराते हैं, क्या वो लोग आतंकवादी नहीं? वो किताबें जो आतंकवाद को बढ़ावा देती हैं, क्या उन्हें लिखने वाले और उन्हें पढ़ने वाले लोग आतंकवादी नहीं? हमारी चुनी हुई सरकार आतंकवाद की इसी परिभाषा को बदलने के लिए 2019 के इस साल में अनलॉफुल एक्टिविटीज प्रिवेंशन एक्ट में संशोधन लाती है। अब से एक अकेला व्यक्ति भी आतंकवादी घोषित किया जा सकेगा।
अब जो सवाल थे आपके, क्या उनके जवाब आपको मिल गए?
हाँ, पर दादू अभी भी एक डाउट है। आई नो कि देश की रक्षा ज़रूरी है, पर उसके लिए इतने सारे लॉज की क्या नीड है? और ये वाली स्टोरी में और उन लोगों की स्टोरीज में इतना डिफरेंस क्यों? ये तो कंट्री को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए ही है ना, तो लोग भी तो उसी का पार्ट हुए। और दादू, बारिश तो बंद हो गई, क्या इसका मतलब अब रेडियो फिर से चल जाएगा?
रुको बेटा, मैं रेडियो चला कर
ज्वाइन करेंगे एडवोकेट रागिनी दास। ये वो शख्स है जो कई सालों से सरकार के खिलाफ असंवैधानिक तौर पर की गई गिरफ्तारियों के लिए लड़ रही हैं। नॉट ओनली अ प्रो बोनो लॉयर बट ऑल्सो अ डियर फ्रेंड। वेलकम टू द शो रागिनी।
थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी हियर विमत, इट्स अ प्लेजर।
तो रागिनी, आपने अभी तक जो केसेस लड़े हैं उनके बारे में थोड़ा कुछ बताइए। कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो अक्सर आपको अपने केसेस में देखने को मिलती हो।
राइट, तो मेरे केसेस यूजुअली फोकस करते हैं उन लोगों पर जो आए दिन इस देश में लागू सिक्योरिटी लॉज के नाम पर फंसाए जाते हैं। यूएपीए, एनएसए, सेडिशन, दीज हैव बिकम वेरी कॉमन। हर केस में जो आपको सिमिलैरिटी मिलेगी वो इस बात में है कि ये सारे लॉज हमारे फंडामेंटल राइट्स को पूरी तरह से डिसरिगार्ड कर देते हैं। और सिर्फ फंडामेंटल राइट्स ही नहीं, कस्टोडियल राइट्स, सिविल राइट्स, इस सब का कोई मतलब ही नहीं रह जाता है फिर।
एग्जैक्टली, क्योंकि सच तो ये है कि ये कानून अब सुरक्षा इस देश की नहीं, बस चुनी हुई सरकार के कुछ लोगों की करते हैं।
ऑफ कोर्स, और यही बात है जो लोगों को समझनी पड़ेगी। ये लॉज अब डिसेंट को दबाने के लिए हमारी सरकार का एक जाहिर सा हथियार बन चुके हैं, जिसको यूज करने में अब वो जरा भी नहीं कतराती।
और अब सवाल करना, आवाज उठाना या फिर अपनी एक अलग राय रखना, ये भी तो खुद जुर्म बन चुके हैं, जिनके परिणाम असल अपराधों से भी ज्यादा गंभीर और सख्त हैं।
बात तो ये भी है विमत कि प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन के रिजीम में अधिकारों का मिलना एक नागरिक के धर्म और जात पर उतना ही निर्भर करता है जितना कि उसके चुप रहने की क्षमता पर।
रागिनी, इस प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन रिजीम और इसके लॉज के खिलाफ लड़ते हुए आपको काफी समय हो चुका है, पर ऐसी क्या चीज है जो आपको आज भी कहीं ना कहीं खटकती है?
जब हम प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन की बात करते हैं तो इंसान दोषी पहले ठहराया जाता है और सबूत बाद में पेश किए जाते हैं, गिल्टी अंटिल प्रूवन इनोसेंट। इस बात को जरा नो वकील, नो दलील, नो अपील के नारे के साथ जोड़ के देखिए। आप खुद से ही ये सवाल करेंगे कि एक बेगुनाह अपनी बेगुनाही साबित करे तो करे कैसे?
मतलब मुद्दे की बात ये नहीं है कि क्या हम स्वतंत्र हैं, बल्कि ये कि क्या हम आजाद हैं। क्योंकि इस देश में अब अधिकारों का प्रयोग भी अपराध सा लगता है और आवाज उठाना एक जुर्म।
क्या हो गया? अरे आप ये सब क्या कर रहे हैं? आप ऐसे कुछ भी थोड़ी कर सकते हैं।
आप साइड में जाइए प्लीज। विमत त्यागी, आपको संदेह के बिना पे अरेस्ट किया जाता है।
दादू, इसमें विमत की क्या गलती थी? वो तो सिर्फ बात कर रहे थे हमसे।
इसमें विमत की कोई गलती नहीं थी, ये मैं जानता हूँ, पर इस समय यह सवाल मायने ही नहीं रखता।
मेरे लिए रखता है। और अब मैं हर हफ्ते शाम के 7:30 बजे किसकी आवाज सुनूंगी?
हेलो
सर, बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है। विमत के अरेस्ट के बाद कोई और आरजे वो सेगमेंट करने को मान ही नहीं रहा। सब डर के बैठे हैं कि उनका नंबर नेक्स्ट है।
तो उनको समझाओ ना कि ऐसे नहीं होगा।
और कैसे बोल के देखूं सर? मैंने बहुत बोला पर वो मान ही नहीं रहे। ये भी बोला कि उनका उस पुराने सेगमेंट से डायरेक्ट रिलेशन भी नहीं होगा।
ठीक है, देखो, हमें पता था ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है। अंडरस्टैंडेबल है। फेलो एम्प्लॉय जस्ट गॉट अरेस्टेड, बाकियों को डर है उनके साथ सेम होगा, नहीं घुसना चाहते इस सब में, ह्यूमन बिहेवियर। लेकिन फैक्ट रिमेन्स कि किसी ना किसी को उठाना ही पड़ेगा टाइम स्लॉट। दैट डजंट चेंज। तो देखो बाकियों को क्या बोल सकते हो, क्या एक्स्ट्रा ऑफर कर सकते हो, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट कॉल आई वॉन्ट अ नेम श्रेया।
यस सर, ट्राइंग माई बेस्ट।
शाम के बज रहे हैं 7:30 और मैं हूँ आपकी नई दोस्त आरजे सहमत। लाई हूँ आपके लिए एक नया शो, सुनने और सुनाने इस देश की मन की बात। तो क्यों ना बीती बातों को भुला दिया जाए और इस दोस्ती की एक नई शुरुआत करी जाए। कोशिश करेंगे कि आने वाले समय में ये दोस्ती बनी रहे और बढ़ती रहे।
Thank you, Verve, for such a thought-provoking audio play. Judges, I'd request you to please give your valuable remarks for the performance.
You want to go first?
I want to ask like few things. Firstly, guys, like really, I mean, simply beautiful how you guys like put together everything. It's really nice and precise, scene by scene. Really, I mean, short and crisp. But definitely, I want to ask you guys about the process, how you guys like, I mean, come up with this topic and why, what made you make you like choose this topic. आपने क्या सोचा ऐसा ये टॉपिक सुना, और ऑल्सो रिसर्च कैसे किया आपने? टेल अस अबाउट दैट. है क्या कोई आपके इस टीम में से?
Hello, yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Karan.
Yeah. So, sir, our process is a bit different from when we talk about the stage plays. So, first we go through a set of topics and we research a lot about it, and then we choose a topic that we find it relevant, as well as based on other metrics that this is the important topic we want to go forward with for our annual production. So we read a lot of cases about the national security laws and how the way it is being implemented and what the current scenario is. So then we went through some case studies, as well as we tried to organize some webinars as well. So with that, we first formulated the arguments we want to put forward in our content, and then we went through making all the scenes and how do we want to put that in a flow with the storyline. And of course, as we are a street theater society, so this audio play production is quite new for us. So but the basic thought behind it was to put forward this content with all the arguments we thought that were brought up with our research.
Okay, and why you chose there was like lots of activist time, like the thing. Why you like limited with the few names? Is there any particular reason, or you that affected you more, something like that?
So, sir, if we talk about the 3 case studies that were put forward in the beginning, so all these 3 case studies were pertaining to different laws. So that's why it was mentioned like that particular instant. And moreover, sir, all these case studies are not like the case studies that took place like 1 or 2 years back. It was like when we talk about Asim Trivedi, it was like 2012, and this was sedition. So there were different political parties that came along. So we didn't want to target one political party. We wanted to question that why this set of laws that were brought up since independence, one after another, and still if we could find the loopholes in different laws, still the same thing is carried forward year after year. And there was a recent amendment in 2019 when we talked about the UAPA. So that made us like question this. So that's why the main reason behind that putting these case studies was that.
Okay. And how many like time you guys rehearse, and what was the process of rehearsing and recording?
Okay, sir. So, sir, as I mentioned that we are a street theater sock, so we chose this topic to create a street play production. But as you know that there was this lockdown and the situation was quite critical, we couldn't meet. So we thought that we should go forward with an audio play. So if we talk about the writing, it was like it took a time. But if we talk about the audio recording and everything and editing and all, so it was like around 10 days or so. But the research and writing took a lot of time because we have to decide the arguments we want to put forward. And if they are not well researched, then there is no point. So, yes, sir.
Okay. I felt a little bit with the sound of like background sound you chose, I felt especially with the rain thing, it could have been because it was like kind of 50-50, the rain sound and the voices. So that will, rain voice sound was like more overpowering, in that way. So few bits like there, I would suggest like if you can just like listen to your voice while recording from the next time. I would just suggest one thing, like while listening your voice and just adding up like what you're adding other sound, and just balance those out. Like sometimes like other sounds just overpower, and that like emotion will take out from that scene. So I felt like that I think was a little bit kind of missing, few percentage was missing there, so and also Dadaji voices, I think you could have worked with the few, character work, like you can give again like voice acting. You were talking about the previous play, you can have like work more what kind of the curiosity of that child, asking to his her grandfather about the situation happening and what the kind of storytelling is happening, which is like kind of, it could be anyone, the asking same question. So how you are asking and what kind of characterization is happening with these two characters, because these two center character is very important throughout the story, right? So I was just saying, like, just like work more into the character of how much curiosity like that girl is have, like why she's asking that. I think that clarity was missing for me.
Sorry.
Yeah, that clarity was missing from me from the child was asking like, why. It was like, for me it was incomplete. Okay. While they're asking the story from the grandfather. So I think the few comments only I'm going to say, like not like lots of things, because I really like the flow and everything, but the characterization could be better actually, and the audio, different soundtrack design you chose, the balance it out. That's it.
Okay. So I think it's a sign that Piyush is struggling to say something, because there isn't a lot that's very wrong with this at all. Yeah, because, because like he's having to really scratch his brain, go through his notes, like what the fuck is wrong with this play? I gotta say something. Actually, I thought it was a really great piece. Like I love the opening. I thought you did a really a bunch of very sophisticated things very easily, because I think like you applied just the right approach to putting it together. The transitions were really, really good. Like the opening itself was really good, and it was a setup without announcing that it's a setup, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen. We should never in theater announce what it is that we're doing. It should just do the thing that it's supposed to do. It was, you set up that radio show, and the radio show was sharing stories. Then you heard a bunch of voices, and I felt like each of the voices had a different personality, had a different character. And then you kind of, because it was a radio show and you've got this tuning thing going on, we can move seamlessly, not only between what's happening on the radio, but we can move from like the radio space to an imaginative space to what's happening outside the radio to back to inside the radio. So I think that setup was really, really good. I thought the storm played a very good kind of role in terms of interrupting the show, taking us somewhere else, and then bringing us back to the radio. And when we, during the storm, when we break away from the storm and the grandfather and the child are talking, we kind of get this, like he's sharing these memories or he's explaining these things to the child, but we're having that same radio effect, which is completely consistent with the style. So I thought that was very, very well done. So, I mean, the rhythm of how you put it together, I thought is really spot on. I mean, the play is kind of a lecture, but it's entertaining. And this is like, that's a huge, huge theatrical, dramatic problem that you have solved. Because what generally tends to happen with plays that are political, and I'm not saying all political plays are like that, or at least plays that talk about politics. The politics are either too kind of ham-fisted, like, they're not clearly expressed, and they tend to come out fairly emotionally, or the theater is bad. Here you have managed to make topics that are, larger than individuals, let's say, things that normally we do not connect to how our lives work. Like this is not about the price of milk, and you've made it relevant in an entertaining way. That is like hats off. Like I hate political plays. I enjoyed listening to yours. Certain aspects of sound, like for example, like throughout this movement of the play, you change from one space to another space, and there is no need for explanation because your style facilitates that. So you made a really good choice right there. The first choice you made, perfect choice, because it works perfectly for the format in which you are presenting your play. I feel with respect to the grandfather and the child, I don't really have any criticisms about the voice acting, but I do think sometimes the grandfather, like in one section, the grandfather could be less verbose in the laws that he's describing. I feel like that line there is too technical. And I think that could change. I don't think the child is that bright also that would understand this technical language. Some parts that I thought were like really nice touches during in the parliament scene, the hammering on the tables, really nice touch. Adding up the ticking of the clock, great. Like just the layering of sound was really, really good. I wonder though if the commando leader, when he's telling all the commandos this is what they have to do, they have to go to Nagaland and do all of this. I wonder if it wouldn't sound better in Hindi, because I think when people hear it, they would relate to it also much better if it's in Hindi. So that's just a question I have, because the sound of the language brings its own idiom. How you would express something, it changes. So that's something there I think you can think about. Again, with the radio interview, I feel like things like custodial rights and things like that, I think those should be explained almost immediately. Like if you the choice you made to kind of get it into this kind of radio show setting where there's a lawyer talking to the RJ, I think that's a great setting. But two things I would say. One is that the RJ has a personality, right? That's why he has a show. So what is that personality? I think that personality could come out a lot more in the voice. I feel like that's being sacrificed for the sake of it, for the sake of the sense of what they're talking coming through. Whereas actually, when you listen to shows like that where people have those, it's much more conversational. Like when the RJ says something like, "Yeah, but look at what's happening in the country today." The RJ has invited this guest on because he cares about talking about this, right? He cares about that. So he's also kind of expressing himself in a certain way. So I think that those voices could have a little more personality. And it takes a little bit of time. There's a dialogue exchange between the lawyer explaining custodial rights and when it's first mentioned. So I think if that's said during an interview, especially because you care about your viewers, and the viewers might switch off because they have such short attention spans, usually the host would say, "Could you explain that?" So I think that time could be a little different. One thing I did not kind of vibe with at all is when the police come and they interrupt the show, and then the child asks in this really innocent way, "Oh, Vimat ki kya galti thi? Isme Vimat ki kya galti thi?" Like, come on, is that out of DD or what? I think you can make that point a lot better because you've done it much better in the rest of the show. So I feel like you've dropped the ball on that. That dialogue exchange is not necessary in the way that it's happened. Make that better. And I think, and this is again a minor point, I think the boss, when the boss says, "Hey, get me another RJ, like next time you call, make sure there's another RJ." Bosses are also like really casual, right? Like you got that at the beginning and then he gets slightly invested in it. But I think the boss can be a lot more casual about it. "Yeah, of course we knew this was going to happen. It's fine. We just find somebody else. It's cool. Just next time you call, just make sure you've got a name for me," right? Because bosses are always casual when they are passing difficult jobs on to subordinates. I thought the ending was very neat, very nice that you bring in another RJ to kind of whatever. But it would be curious, and the RJ sounds suitably toothless also. Oh, both dosti and dosti bane rahe and stuff like that. But I'm wondering if the song at the end, which is very nice, but is also very street theater. I don't know if it's necessary that it comes right at the end. Like if you want to include it, could it not kind of just like start playing at the back while this new RJ is speaking, almost like an ironic device? So because I feel like that would make the point you're trying to make a lot sharper. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, one thing. I mean, just the way you guys said we are from. I mean, we do street plays, and that part was really nice there. वो लगा नहीं कि street play, but they were like fused through the your song, and there was like कि ये एक नारा जो लगाते, that thing was really there. So that took me there in the street play zone. That was really commendable. It's really nice. And the song you guys wrote, I think this is like you guys wrote this song, right? And everything originally done by you. It was really good, amazing. So that really, I mean, that whole, that kind of, the play is really listen and just move forward with the play flow, that was really nice. So yeah, and yeah, congratulations guys. So really, I mean, nice and amazing to put it together, and each show was totally different from each other, and that gave each other, means like the design and the and structure of the characterization and story wise, and also how you chose this plays together. That's really amazing, and I just love all three variations. It's amazing.
Hey, sorry, I want to say one thing actually about the first play that I'm looking at, and this is with respect to sound. There's a lot of breath and breathing, and I think you can consider using that better, because that also sets up, audio effects. The sound of breath and breathing, the rhythm, the speed at which it happens, the different sounds, groans, moans, wheezes that can happen with breath. I think that would maybe also accentuate the feeling of horror. Okay.
Yeah, for
that's
this,
it.
like just one more thing, just like Bikram said. So for this guys, one first play and the second, there was one. I mean, in the first play, there like few moment. In the second play, there was one character who was speaking really close to the mic when you speak and record like this. So I think you can just see while recording, because it's an audio version, So just see mic kitne distance pe hai, and just listen to that after that recording, Just don't leave that how you feeling, because जैसे ही आपको अगर अच्छा लगेगा तो फिर ऑडियंस को भी अच्छा लगेगा, सिंपल सी बात है ना. So just listen to that after recording.
Thank you so much, judges. With this, we come to the end of the audio plays category under Numaish. I'd like to thank our judges that they graced our event with their kind presence. Sir, would you like to say something to our performers and the audience as an ending note?
Yeah, I mean, I think congratulations to you guys, firstly, for actually going through with this festival, because actually, look, we're in a very strange situation. We don't know what's going to come next. And whatever you guys are doing right now, this is what's going to sustain you, right? And you're doing it for yourselves. And even if I say you're doing it for yourselves, what you're actually doing is you're keeping alive something that's come before you, and you're probably keeping it alive for the people who are going to come after you. And that is part of what campus theater is. So really, really congratulations for putting you together, and the same to the teams, because what you guys have done in terms of just adapting what you would have ordinarily done to different formats to try and put this stuff out there. This is really, really kind of significant, because this isn't the first time theaters have been shut for over a year. It's not going to be the last time. But there's a reason why theater people survive, or theater survives, is because theater knows how to adapt. And this is what you guys are doing. And this is what's really necessary. Like since the thing happened, since the pandemic has started, we've seen a whole bunch of like very senior theater people start doing like poetry recitations and like sitting in their pajamas, wearing glasses, reading from scripts and asking people to pay to watch it. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. But what you guys are doing, what you guys are trying to do with just trying to adapt to the different formats, this is the right way. I'm not saying you should all try and want to become radio stars or whatever it is. But the thing about theater is that if you understand how to put something together, you can do anything you want. And that is actually what theater empowers you to do. So, congratulations to all of you. And like, thank you for having me here to be part of this.
Thank you, sir. Piyush, sir, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you so much, actually, Nitesh, and you guys, SRC Histrionica, for calling this festival. As like Vikram also said, like this is a hard time, but show must go on, and you guys did that. That's really, and I'm really happy that, because whenever I see, because I also belong from once there was, I also in the university and doing all this stuff. So I always see this energy is happening and going on, building something, that enthusiasm about the play and theater. That's really, I went this kind of memory, I went back there, And you guys, and this category you just add on, I just love it. This is really amazing you guys did. I'm really happy that you chose this, the category, and they come up with the audio play. I just love it, and thank you so much for this wonderful experience, and wish you all the best, and just take care and just be there for each other. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure hosting you all for the audio plays category under Numaish. Stay tuned for the next category of productions, short films. Thank you.